Alright, so this is going to be a quick video on how to remove wide body flares. Obviously, specifically for a Charger. Challenger might be a tiny bit different, but it's probably the same case because when I was searching for how to remove them, all I could find was the Dodge forums, and even other shops like PPF shops were saying they don't touch them because supposedly there's 3M tape heavily taped onto the sides and they didn't want to mess with it. Maybe that's true for older models, but this is a 21 or a 22. It's brand new. So this is specifically for this, you know, do it at your own risk. I don't know if the older models have 3M tape, any of that shit. So the front ones, these literally just pull completely off. So what they have is, as you can see, I have them here. What they have is these pop clips. They just slide in when you pop them in. And so right here, I'll show you this one, passenger. So there's 2 holes here and there's 2 pop clips in these. And I don't remember what went here. Maybe it was a 3rd one, but whatever. If there's 3, there's 3. So then you come over here and the holes for them are literally right here. 1, 2, and maybe a 3rd one. It's that, I don't think it's a screw. I don't remember taking a screw off the front. Pretty sure it's a pop clip. And then once you take those out, that's literally what's holding the flare as an extra support, right? Because there's no screws on this piece. So once you take those 3 out, you get your fingers in here and you'll see it's a little bit loose and you just start pulling. It's gonna sound like you're breaking something, literally, but the flare, like there's a 99% chance the flare won't snap. Just make sure when you're pulling that you pull you see where they're lined up. Like I didn't know how many there were, so I was just pulling as tight as I could. So let's say you pop this one off, get your hand right like as far as you can into this edge, and don't like pull slow. Make sure you're jabbing it out, and they'll just pop out. Just make sure you have 2 hands in there and just jab it out, like pop it out. Don't be pulling really slowly, because then you got a chance of cracking it. You want to like pull it out pretty quick. And then once you get up here, there's not even a tab here that's extra support. This is just how Dodge makes it, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna sound like you're breaking shit, because they made it obviously so this could withstand high speeds and winds and all that shit. So these are extremely tight when you're pulling them. And then they got those rubber seals. Some of these little rubber seals around the blue thing, they'll stay on the car, especially if it's brand new like this one. And just put them back on. So right now, obviously this is sitting like this. I'm gonna put a drop cloth under it. And it's just sitting on the plastic. It's not sitting on the paint, so don't trip. Okay, so that's the front. And then you got the rears. So the rears is a tiny bit different. What you're gonna wanna do is, all you have to do is remove this one pop clip. I put it back in place so I know it's for this one. And you don't really need to take this off until you put the flare back on. So right behind here, there's one, you just pull this back once you get that loose. And then there's one 6 or 7 mil screw, and it screws right here at the top. And that's just the extra support as if it was a pop clip, you know what I'm saying, for this piece. I don't know why they decided to put an extra screw on the rear quarter panel piece, but that's that. And then the same way for this one, the quarter panel piece, you're gonna wanna pull from this side, obviously, because it's too tight over there. So once you get it once you get that screw out, this piece is actually extremely tight. Make sure you use, like this is just dirty behind the car, but make sure you use a plastic trim piece and a piece of cloth or like a rag or something so you don't damage it. As you can see, Dodge put like a little piece of 3M tape. It's pretty sticky. It's not that sticky, but it's pretty sticky just to keep the piece down. I'll put a new piece down when I'm reinstalling. And so you're gonna want to like just make, these are the hardest two to start on. So it's extremely tight right here, and you're gonna, like I said, you don't want to scratch the paint. So make sure you just got enough, you know, cloths or whatever to make sure you don't damage anything. And you just want to pop it off really quickly instead of just like pressing and pushing very slowly to see if it'll pop off. But once you get these two loose, the rest of it's cake. So that's the rear. And then once you get to this side, this tab, as you can see, is kind of holding it. So you slide, make sure when you're reinstalling, you're probably gonna want to slide it back here. Make sure it's under this, and then you start popping it back in. Okay, and that's the rear quarter panel piece. Now with the rear door, it's actually 10 times easier than any of them. It still has clips, obviously, but I'll go show the screws in a second. And each one of these holes, it's like a tiny Torx screw. So you take these off first, and there's nothing covering this. When you open the door, this is how it looks. It's just screws. Like there's no gasket covering this shit. That's just how Dodge does it. So then once you get that loose, I pulled it from the top and just popped it out. There's nothing at the bottom holding it. So yeah, that's how you remove Charger wide body flares. The bumper flares are obviously molded on. Can't do nothing about that. I've heard these are pretty or moderately difficult to reinstall. I've seen a video on it because that was the only one I found on a Charger wide body, and he still didn't show me how to take off the flares. So I decided to make this video for everybody that needs to take these off for wrapping, for PPF, any shop. If it's brand new and you know it's a 21 or a 22, there's no 3M tape holding it as extra. There's literally no need. The way Dodge produces these on the assembly line, it's literally made like this from factory, and it holds strong. I don't know why they would even put tape. And the gap is just, when it's actually on, there's literally no gap. These even look molded. Like that's how good and tight they look when they're on with these clips. So also here, let me see. So these are the, as you can see, I wrote quarter panel underliner. There's one on each side, and there are these tiny there are these tiny 6 or 7 mil screws. So that's that. And then these are the door ones. So you're gonna have like 7 on each door or some shit like that. And it's like a tiny Torx. I don't know the exact size. And that's it. So yeah, when you're taking off the quarter panel pieces, like I said, you know, get yourself a plastic trim tool set and just be careful. You don't want to damage a fucking car. So that's how you take off Charger wide body flares. Let me know if you have any questions.